So the other day, I was at my godfather's 30th anniversary of being a priest. His name's Father Harvey, and he was actually the first black priest to be ordained in Arkansas. And while we were there, I served Mass with him. After Mass, I was talking to a few of the priests and deacons and some other people, and they kept asking me if I was a seminarian. And so I kept saying I was a seminarian, but after a year, I discerned God was calling me to marriage. And I'll talk about how now I'm working with my dad and continue the conversation. Well, probably the third person that walked up to me, he asked me about seminary. And before I could even answer, the priest that was standing there next to me, he answered for me and he said, he's discerning marriage. And it kind of took me aback, and I started thinking about that, about how so often we talk about discernment in the sense of being a priest. We talk about discernment in the sense of becoming a sister, but not so much with marriage. That yes, I phrased it, I discerned God was calling me to marriage while I was in seminary, while I was going through discernment. But it can't stop there. That I have to continue to discern throughout my life. That discernment is a lifelong process. I was talking to my friend Tyler the other day, and he agreed with me, and he said a lot of times when we talk about marriage and discernment, all we really talk about is dating. It's like, yeah, I'll go on a few dates. We'll see how it goes. But I encourage you to think of discernment in the context of marriage, in the context of dating. That the person you marry ultimately affects your entire family's lives. That you're bringing a whole nother family into your family. That's a big deal. And how our first vocation is to love. But then we have other vocations, like the vocation to priesthood, to marriage. My dad is in the diaconate right now. That he was called to be a husband and a father, but now he's gotten a second vocation, to become a deacon. And in our vocation, we're called to be bold. We're called to be courageous. And what this brings up is, so often for men, we are scared of being rejected. I was talking to a friend just the other day, and he talked to me about that, how he's always had this fear of rejection. What it made me think of was when I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. One of my friends, he started dating a girl who I thought was honestly way out of his league. Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, how did he get this girl? And I told my dad about this, and he looked at me and he goes, well, he had the balls to ask her out. And it was just, I was a little taken aback that my dad said that, but that stuck with me. And ever since then, I didn't want to be the guy who was too afraid to ask a girl out. Who, when it came to love, I stopped because of fear. Just the other day, I actually asked someone out, and she said no. and that's okay. It wasn't the right time for her. She had a lot going on in her life at the time, and she wanted to say yes, but she just really couldn't pursue a relationship at this time. And I love that phrasing, pursue a relationship. The thing is, we're called to pursue each other. We're called to pursue Christ because he's pursuing us. You better believe it. And after she said no, I texted her back and I said, thank you. Thank you for saying no. That I wasn't heartbroken over it. I was thankful that I asked her out, that I had the courage to ask her out. And she responded with love. She responded with honesty. And so when someone asks you out, be honest with yourself. Are you saying no out of fear? Or maybe are you saying yes out of fear? Regardless, be courageous. Discern. Ask God, is this the best thing for me right now? Because maybe it'll happen later. Maybe right now he's calling you to step out of your comfort zone and say yes. One of my biggest pet peeves is people will come off ministry. Like I did net ministries. They'll come off net ministries, say they go to Franciscan, they go to Benedictine, whatever college. Doesn't have to be a Catholic college. And they'll come off of this like 9-month dating fast. And then they'll start another one. They'll start a dating fast. And I'm sitting here thinking, you just got off one. Go on some dates, get to know some people. So maybe you're sitting there and you don't know what your vocation is. You're not sure where God is calling you. Well, regardless, He's calling you to love. When I was with Net Ministries, at a certain point, we were about to go find out who our host families were, who we were staying with that night. And two of the girls on my team stayed with this one woman that said when the Net team showed up, she was talking to the priest and she immediately stopped the conversation. She pointed at one of the guys on the team and she goes, "That man needs to be a priest." And the next day, she pointed out to the team who that was, and she was pointing at me. And I prayed about that later. This was a year after I was in seminary. And I prayed about it a lot, and what I recognized is she recognized in me Christ. That whenever we see something good in someone, what we're recognizing is Christ. And she saw me striving to be a saint, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to be a priest. You don't need to be a priest or a sister to be a saint. That I'm going to keep striving for holiness. That I'm going to take the example of Saint Joseph and one day be the best husband and father that I can be. And in doing so, strive to be a saint. So if you're like me and you're a 20-something-year-old that is looking forward to marriage, one of the most important things you can do is be open. Be open to letting God surprise you. And another thing is keep growing. Don't stop where you're at. That in this time in your life, you're preparing for marriage. Preparing to be the man or the woman that you want to be for your husband or wife. And then you can grow together. That so much over this past year, God has helped me grow. That being around my brother this past year, he's helped me grow in being slow to anger and having patience with him. Though that will one day help me with my kids. There's a quote I love by Saint Anthony of Padua that reads, "Everyone longs to give themselves completely to someone, to have a deep soul relationship with another, to be loved thoroughly and exclusively. But to a Christian, God says no. Not until you are satisfied, fulfilled, and content with being loved by me alone, with giving yourself totally and unreservedly to me, with having an intensely personal and unique relationship with me alone, discovering that only in me is your satisfaction to be found. Will you be capable of the perfect human relationship that I have planned for you? You will never be united to another until you are united with me, exclusive of anyone or anything else, exclusive of any other desires or longings. I want you to stop planning, to stop wishing, and to allow me to give you the most thrilling plan existing, one you cannot imagine. I want you to have the best. Please allow me to bring it to you. You just keep watching me, expecting the greatest things. Keep experiencing the satisfaction that I am. Keep listening and learning the things that I tell you. Just wait, that's all. Don't be anxious, don't worry. Don't look around at things others have gotten or that I have given to them. Don't look around at things you think you want. Just keep looking off and away, up to me, or you'll miss what I want to show you. And then when you're ready, I'll surprise you with a love far more wonderful than you could dream of. You see, until you are ready, and until the one I have for you is ready, I'm working even at this moment to have both of you ready at the same time. Until you are both satisfied exclusively with me and the life I've prepared for you, you won't be able to experience the love that exemplified your relationship with me. And this is perfect love. And dear one, I want you to have this most wonderful love. I want you to see in the flesh a picture of your relationship with me, and to enjoy materially materially and concretely the everlasting union of beauty, perfection, and love that I offer you with myself. Know that I love you utterly. I am God. Believe it and be satisfied. I hope you guys liked that video. Please like, subscribe, and share. If anything, just to share that quote from St. Anthony of Padua, to help people trust in the Lord more, that He does have a plan for them, and live your vocation of love.